The message arrived on a Tuesday morning, crackling through every communication array from Luna to the outer colonies. Ambassador Kane stood in the United Earth Command Center, watching the holographic display flicker to life as 12 alien faces materialized around the central table. Humans of Sol, the lead counselor began, his blue-scaled features twisted in what might have been disgust. The Galactic Council has reached a unanimous decision. Your species has violated 17 articles of galactic law. Your expansion must cease immediately. Kane remained silent, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. Around him, the command staff exchanged glances, but nobody spoke. Furthermore, the alien continued, your military activities in the Centauri sector constitute an act of aggression against the Rilani Republic. You have 48 standard hours to withdraw all human presence beyond your home system, or face the consequences. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in tense silence. Sir? Lieutenant, Blake asked quietly. Your orders? Kane turned slowly, his gray eyes scanning the room. Send word to all fleet commanders. Condition red. Full mobilization. The lieutenant's face paled. All of them, sir? Every last ship, soldier. It's time they learned why we don't back down. Across human space, the war machine awakened. From hidden shipyards and asteroid belts to massive orbital platforms, humanity's true military might began to stir. The Council had made one critical error in their calculations. They had assumed humans were like every other species they had conquered, scattered, fragmented, prone to panic when faced with overwhelming odds. They were wrong. Admiral Torres stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Defiance, watching as her tactical display populated with friendly contacts. 700 ships had answered the call within the first day. By the second day, that number had tripled. Ma'am, her communications officer reported, we're receiving final positioning reports from all sectors. Task Force Omega reports ready. Task Force Alpha is in position. The Outer Rim squadrons have completed their jump calculations. Torres nodded grimly. The Council's fleet was impressive by any standard. 3,000 ships representing 12 different species armed with technology that had crushed 100 worlds, but they had never faced humanity's greatest weapon, unity in the face of extinction. All stations, this is Admiral Torres. The enemy fleet has entered the system. Remember, they asked for this fight. Show them what happens when you threaten our home. The Council's armada dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their ships gleaming silver and gold against the star field. Admiral Vex, the Caltarian fleet commander, studied his tactical display with satisfaction. His forces outnumbered the human fleet by more than 2 to 1. This would be a simple matter of demonstration, a show of force to put these upstart mammals in their place. Begin the attack, he ordered. Target their command vessels first. Make it quick. The first wave of plasma bolts and particle beams lanced across space, lighting up the darkness between the fleets. But as the energy dissipated, Vex's satisfaction turned to confusion. The human ships remained intact, their hulls glowing with some kind of defensive field he had never encountered. Impossible, he muttered. Our intelligence reports indicated primitive shielding technology. His tactical officer, a nervous Rilani named Gix, pointed at his scanner. Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the human vessels. They're charging some kind of weapons system. Before Vex could respond, space erupted in light. The human ships fired as one, unleashing a barrage that defied every tactical manual in the known galaxy. These weren't the primitive railguns and nuclear torpedoes the Council's spies had reported. These were weapons that tore holes in reality itself, creating cascading failures in enemy shields and hull integrity. The Council's front line simply ceased to exist. Retreat! Vex screamed into his communicator. All ships, emergency jump, full, withdrawal. But the humans had anticipated this. As the surviving Council ships powered their hyperdrives, they found their escape routes blocked by mines that disrupted subspace itself. They were trapped, surrounded by an enemy they had catastrophically underestimated. Captain Ross watched from the bridge of his destroyer as the last Council ship's shields failed. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency, their faces showing no mercy for an enemy that had come to destroy their world. "Sir," his weapons officer reported, "target is disabled. They're signaling surrender." Ross considered this for a moment. The Council had offered no quarter when they demanded humanity's withdrawal. They had threatened extinction for an entire species. But humans, even in war, maintained their principles. "Accept their surrender," he ordered. "Take them into custody." The battle was over in less than 4 hours. Of the 3,000 ships that had entered the Sol system with such confidence, fewer than 200 remained intact. The survivors found themselves facing a choice: unconditional surrender or complete annihilation. Ambassador Kane stood once again in the command center, but this time he was not alone. The 12 council members who had delivered their ultimatum now sat in restraints, their arrogance replaced by barely concealed terror. "Let me make this simple," Kane said, his voice carrying the weight of human determination. "You came here to end us. Instead, you've learned what every bully throughout history eventually discovers. Push too hard, and eventually someone pushes back." He leaned forward, his eyes meeting each of theirs in turn. "Humanity is withdrawing from no territory. We will continue our expansion as we see fit. And if the Council ever threatens us again, what happened to your fleet will seem like a gentle warning compared to what comes next." The lead counselor, his blue scales now pale with fear, managed to speak. "The other species will never accept this. The entire galaxy will unite against you." Kane smiled coldly. "Let them try. They'll learn the same lesson you just did. Humans don't just survive. We adapt, we overcome, and we never, ever surrender." As the Council representatives were led away to await transport back to their homeworlds, Kane turned to look out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was learning a new truth. Humanity had arrived, and they were here to stay. The age of human expansion was just beginning.